is busy man, you know, and that's what's helping create those brands, you know, and I don't think it's much of a different scenario whether you're a signwriter or whether you're a restaurateur or you're selling T-shirts and thongs. You've got to communicate with your audience and you've got to tell a good story. And if you don't tell a good story, then you're getting left behind.
Yeah, you've got to think tribally.
Yeah.
Do you? I want to be in that tribe of Mad Hueys. There's some. They're always funny. Something like this. Like I want to be in that thing. Same if it was a restaurant or a.
Yeah.
So there's something about those guys that I want to associate myself with, and
yeah, you know,
which is what and a lot of people can't do that. They actually don't have it in themselves. They have to choose the right person.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody was a good storyteller. You know, so and I think that's what it comes down to. It's that salami again. He's fed me up on salami and Jack Daniels.
Do you know what? Is it Fat Lamb Ginger Ale? Is
that the one in the plastic bottle that's kind of like 3 for $10 or
8%, $8.
A couple of my mates out in the Tweed Valley got onto it, and it is at the cheaper end of town.
It's $8.
But
for like a litre
it
bottle.
seems to work pretty solidly. Eh? I haven't drunk a lot of it myself.
I haven't had any, but I bought some this afternoon.
I've
I've
got to check out what that's about.
I'm starting to live like this. If things all of a sudden pop in, like Cindy Jensen, she was on this podcast show the other day, right?
Is that your busker lady? Yep.
Greatest person, right? She told me about it. Just the other day, someone said that word again, Fat Lamb stuff. Just today, I was at Leo Hoff's from Crumb and Boat Shed.
And so what, Leo and the boys are on to the Fat Lamb?
Well, no, his wife. Yep. They showed me this great video.
Yep.
His wife's Samoan, okay? Born in Australia, but the family's Samoan.
Yep.
They went over and got married in Samoa recently.
Yeah, right on.
And a couple of weeks ago, and I saw it's exactly the beach where Survivor filmed Survivor Samoa, right?
Yeah.
So absolutely beautiful. This is where their family home is.
And he's Leo.
Anyway, so that's her sort of history.
Yeah.
They live on this great. He won't mind me saying this, but
no,
live on this great place in Crumman on the water.
Yep.
They actually raised a pig to be slaughtered, and
how did they get it over there?
Not in Samoa, here.
Oh, here.
Crumman, yeah,
right
like some, a pig, right?
They're killing pigs in Crumman, you can't do
that. You can. Shh. Don't tell anyone. I'm sure you can. It's an acreage block.
Right.
Actually, they got a butcher. They actually got a proper butcher, like a mobile butcher guy.
We'll
anyway,
back that up anyway.
But
you'll edit that later.
The way they do it is you give it a big feast at its last last thing, and they fill it up with fat lamb.
Oh, set it up on the piece.
Yeah, it was like it was very drunk, and its sort of last moments were just wasted off $8.
I wonder if it made the meat taste any better.
I reckon
I'd like to know.
I'm hungry now.
Yeah, that's the only problem with doing the food stuff at the restaurant. I was there from like 10 o'clock in the morning on Friday right through until maybe 10 o'clock that night. Oh. And you just get these little moments from David. He's on the other side of the restaurant. He just waves you over like, come over here. And has
he got an accent, mate? Has he got some sort of try this pasta?
No, he's actually David DeVito.
Awesome.
Australia's celebrity singing chef. He's got like millions of YouTube hits, and he was on.
Wow, I think
Australia's Got Talent or something like that, 2011 or something.
Great.
Puts on an amazing show, like all the old the general demographic for their night show, I think, is probably like late 20s to late 30s, sort of, maybe early 40s demographic is where most of our traffic is for the restaurant. Not that there's a problem with that. But
what suburb?
Southport, right beside Sundale Bridge it is.
Okay. Where the old Outback Steakhouse was?
Outback Jack's or whatever it was.
Right.
And Fratelli's before that or whatever.
Beautiful. Okay, good.
It's a family-owned place, and David's mum and dad owned it years ago and all that sort of stuff. And, so I got to taste like the 12-hour beef cheek, the Wagyu with the 200 kilo jus.
Whoa.
Like, they get 200 kilos of beef. And you've got to contemplate this for a second, all right? So the Wagyu is obviously export quality Wagyu, melts in your mouth. You know what I'm talking about. They play the
also
tunes to the
Japanese
beef.
lots of fat.
Amazing, just like
Yeah.
put this juice on it, right? But the juice is 200 kilograms of beef, cooked down and reduced to a sauce. So when you taste it, it's the most beefiest, beefy thing that you've ever had.
Awesome.
And you've got the Wagyu sitting in it, and it's just like, wow, you know, you taste that, and you're like, where am I going after this? You know?
Yeah. I got things to do.
Oh, yeah. And they make all their own breads and pastas and stuff in-house. So they would just sit like all day just going, Leigh, taste this, Leigh, taste
Excellent.
that. And, of course, you know, I'm a bigger fella, and I really don't like a good feed at all. And, you know, I may have been grazing all day that day, but I finished off the night with 12 oysters from Coffin Bay from South Australia, freshly shucked that afternoon. Like they were still an oyster living maybe an hour or so before I ate them, you know, and yeah, just amazing food that way. So
Great. I got a feeling I went to DeVito's maybe 10 years ago.
Well, they've only been open there as DeVito's probably 6 or 8 months, maybe, I think, since September last year.
Yeah, but you said it was a family thing from...
Yeah, I think it was Fratelli's, or you'd have to suss it out.
I got a feeling I saw
it was
that.
like a really high...
Yep.
Funny. It's a bit of a funny story I have about the place. I walk in there on the... it was about a week before last Friday or whatever when I had the first consultation with them after Robbie Bolger put me forward for the job, actually.
Great.
So I walk in there blind sort of thing, just knowing I've got to see this bloke. And I've walked in there and I'm looking around and, you know, we've sat down and introduced each other. And he's like, so, Leigh, what did you think when you walked up into the restaurant there, you know? And I'm like, well, I'd have to be honest with you, David. I think I told my ex-missus to pack her bags while we were sitting in the window over there one year. And he's just kind of looked at me real strange. I'm like, look, mate, it's not a bad memory. It's just not a good one, you know?
Right.
So,
well, I had a similar memory.
Oh,
that's
from there as
I know
well.
it was an Italian restaurant.
Yep.
I could even picture
where you were
the
sitting
entranceway and everything.
Yep.
Yeah. It wasn't a bad one. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
It was like taking my ex out to somewhere great.
Oh, it was flash. Like back in those days. Yeah, I remember it. Like, because we lived in Main Beach back in the early 90s and stuff, and yeah, it was the flash place to go. So
I actually nearly broke my leg on that pier. My old man had a houseboat and he just smashed it off a wave, like a wave on the other side. And I'm trying to like hold my leg. This was like a Shark Cat houseboat, like a big old heavy 80s deal.
Yeah.
And I saw my femur, like I get the creeps thing. It actually bent because the railings on boats and the big huge that was that spot.
So we've both been a little touched by the old DeVito's waterfront. But anyway.
But the juice.
To come back to where I think we started, which was shooting photos and video content for them and stuff. Even just editing the images, it makes you hungry because it looks really good, you know. Right. So, yeah, I've definitely been enjoying things lately, mate. And I think a month off in the Central Desert kind of helped as well. Spent a bit of time in Darwin, and then we took a trek down the Stuart Highway all the way to Port Augusta in South Australia. So we went the northern waters to the southern waters across the country. Yeah, a friend of mine, this particular friend of mine, Sal Wild, she used to be a chef at Kerry Packer's private residence, Elliston, up in the hills in New South Wales and stuff. So, yeah, it was a bit of an adventure. She had a car that needed to come home from Darwin and a bit of time, and we figured why not go on a bit of a driving mission, you know, and I think 8,000 Ks later or something, we ended up back in the Hunter Valley.
Nice.
So, and we got to see places that, you know, like we played tourist, of course, and, you know, stayed underground in Coober Pedy and saw the Devil's Marbles and Uluru and Kittajunta and, you know, just did crazy stuff that you would never, ever imagine doing, you know. It's open speed limit out there south of Tennant Creek. And, I don't think I've ever been anywhere at 170 kilometres an hour for so long in my life.
Oh, yeah.
To the point where, we were setting the cruise control at about 160, 170 for days on end, I'm talking, it's a big, wide country out there, man, and you've got kilometres to do, and it's straight and boring and desolate, and it really makes you think we've probably got immigration a little wrong in this country at the moment.
Oh, definitely, mate. There's so much. There's so much nothing.
And there's towns and stuff out there too, dude. There's one servo towns that have got the infrastructure to maybe take some immigration and let these people develop whatever industry they need to develop to survive. They're from desolate country, so.
You can run a computer-based business
from anywhere
with internet
in the world,
banking from anywhere.
That's right.
You don't have to be in Bangladesh. You can.
Having said that, there's a lot of country out there that still doesn't have access to telephone or internet, which definitely made us stand out as city kids a little bit out there. I think, but that's just infrastructure.
It's weird.
It's so far.
This band went to Roma.
Yeah, on the
Friday
weekend.
night. Yeah, so that's 6 hours drive from.
Yeah.
And I'd been to Dalby.
Yeah.
I'd just never been past Dalby, and it's 3 hours I think to Dalby, another 3 hours to Roma. So I'm going. Okay.
Next thing you'd be playing Moree, Moree RSL.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, well, that's a big town, but we went through a bunch of little ones, and it was always like, what the hell? How come this was started? Here? And why did it start? 100-year-old pubs in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And talking about city slickers, I
was
you
had drovers and shearers and farm staff, and things have changed a lot out west. And
I was so dopey, mate, that I saw all this white stuff out of Dalby. There was all this like sheep wool on the side of the road for 100 Ks, right? Cotton. So I'm driving along with Shanae Louise. Yeah. Look at that. There must be like a lot of sheep trucks out here.
Yeah.
She goes, "No, you dick. Look over there. It's like fields of cotton."
Yeah.
I've never seen cotton farms.
So, was it wet while you were out there? Did you get to enjoy the black soil plains?
Yeah.
Mate, as soon as the water touches it, it turns into this super sticky black soil. It's gnarly. Right. But, that was some of the stuff that really struck me when I started going west for work. It was like, look at the size of these farms and what do they do out here?
Yeah. It made me realise how. Imagine if I pulled into a service station, right? Dalaka, I think was one.
Yeah.
Right, Dalaka, which is basically just a
servo.
Who knows? A servo and a pub, and me, right?
Yep.
From the Gold Coast, Brisbane, Sydney. That's my whole world. Been around everywhere, but I know nothing about the real life of the city, of the country town. And so, what do you guys do here? But to the person working in the servo, they know it's a cotton town, you clown. Yeah. And down the road an hour, that's a beef town. This entire place has been a cotton town for 200 years.
And there's like 80 homesteads around.
Yeah, all based, and that's all they speak about every day. Every truck, everything delivered is for that reason.
Yeah, well, we got to see the other side of the coin too. Places like Mataranka was our first night out of Darwin, and we've been to the Bitter Springs in the afternoon, which is a really cool, clear sulphur swimming hole, warm and flowing, and got into Mataranka, and it happened to be payday for all the Indigi crew there, and must have been like 15 different groups of people in the park having a party when you're not even meant to drink in public there, so we were kind of aware of what was up straight away, and hit the publican up who, we rented a room off the pub, and just said, what's the go here, and she's like, oh, Tuesday being payday, everybody's in town, but then their royalty check day was Thursday, and a lot of crew were just staying in town until they got paid on the Thursday, and it could, some of them were getting up to $5,000 check. Right. So in the servo,
a month,
yeah, it was like a royalty payment from mining or whatever, And I had a chat to a couple of unks there, and this one bloke, Unc David, was like, I lived just up the road, and it was about 300 or 400 k's out of Mataranka. But to him, it was just up the road. His brother had dropped him off on the way to Alice Springs on the Monday, so they were in town to get paid on the Tuesday. And then